When you read these Western storybooks, it always says, once upon a time in a land far, far away. But a lot of the Soviet storybooks started with whether this happened a long time ago or not so long ago, whether this really happened or not, nobody knows for certain. And I think that's a really beautiful way to enter a story. The title of this work is called Nobody Knows for Certain, and it's really about a world where children grew up in a time without like radio and TV and the internet, but books were the only thing that were windows to them, to the other side of around them. I grew up as a child in the 90s, so I was not growing up with these children's books. It was not part of my childhood. Then the more and more time I spent understanding this world, the more I got very fascinated by very particular cultural phenomenon in the 60s to 80s actually, but the peak of it was in the 70s, where the Soviet Union and India had this cultural exchange pact, and lots of Bollywood films would be very popular in the Soviet Union, and lots of literature from the Soviet Union for adult and for children were popular in India. So this idea of this human need of collecting became very interesting to me, and I wanted to make something where you could not only read these books or it becomes an archive for the books, but also that you can also experience that act of collecting. When you come into this room, you see this sort of sea in which you see these books that are floating, coming from one faraway land to another faraway land, but you also see all of these letters where children from India in the 60s and 70s have written to the editors of those books saying, we love this book and this is what this book made us feel, or pen pal letters, which was a very big thing at that time. You know, a child from India and a child from another country are making friends, and so it's kind of looking at that moment in time. And then you kind of come to this player's console where you have an invitation to sit down and to play a game that's full of stories that you can read and enjoy. And so the game is actually very much an ode to that 90s CD-ROM encyclopedia kind of aesthetic. After spending a lot of time with the books that I had archived, then I kind of wrote my own story, a fiction story where there are two characters. One main character is a cat who is born without a tail, and it kind of leaves its home and goes searching for something because it's feeling like a part of it is missing. And I'm kind of playing with this TAIL and TALE, and the story and the tail and the missing part. And then the second main character is a matryoshka doll, which is like the Russian doll, they call it, one inside, one inside, one. And so the character in my game is a doll that belongs to a young boy in India who, while playing, he lost all the inside dolls. And she also feels like something's missing, I'm empty inside. So this cat and this doll meet each other and then they go on a quest, and that is the story that I have written. But through this journey of the cat and the doll, you meet fictional characters, you meet real characters that I met through my research, you get to find the books and read them. You also kind of get to understand the socio-political moment in which this exchange of children's books happened. So it's sort of like an immersive journey into this world in which these books existed.
Greetings from India to you all.
One of the main actions that you can do in this game is you can search for hidden books and hidden cards and build your own collection as you go. And even though it's a video game, it's not like losing or winning, but it's like experiencing a story in a game format.